Ever wondered what's really behind the myths that surround America? From the belief that everyone in the US is swimming in wealth, to the assumption that it's a country where fast food reigns supreme, many ideas about America are based on surface-level perceptions or long-standing stereotypes. But what if I told you that much of what you think you know about America is actually far from the truth? In this deep dive, we'll unravel 10 of the most common misconceptions about the US, revealing the untold stories and surprising facts that challenge the myths. What's the real story behind the so-called American dream? Is the US really as racially tolerant as it seems? And why does the healthcare system here stand out for all the wrong reasons? Get ready to discover a whole new perspective on a nation that is as diverse and complex as its history. 1. Everyone in America is wealthy. While the United States has some of the wealthiest people in the world, not everyone enjoys prosperity. The US has significant income inequality, with a large portion of the population living below the poverty line. According to recent statistics, about 10 to 12% of Americans live in poverty. The distribution of wealth is highly uneven, and many working-class families struggle to make ends meet despite the country's high overall GDP. 2. Americans don't travel abroad. It's often believed that Americans are insular and rarely travel outside the US, but this is not true. Americans do travel abroad, with millions of citizens visiting other countries each year. However, the geographical size of the US and the cultural diversity within the country often means that people may choose to explore domestic destinations first. But Americans are among the top nationalities of international travelers, especially to Europe, Mexico, and Canada. 3. America is all about fast food. While fast food is an integral part of American culture, it's far from the only type of cuisine people eat. The US is a melting pot of cultures, and the culinary scene is incredibly diverse, with influences from around the world, from Italian to Mexican, Chinese to Indian, and regional specialties like Southern barbecue, New England seafood, and California fresh cuisine. American food is much more than fast food chains like McDonald's and Burger King. 4. Gun violence is unique to America. Although gun violence is a serious problem in the US, it is not unique to America. Many other countries experience gun violence, but the frequency of mass shootings and gun-related deaths in the US is higher due to the country's relatively lax gun laws, the large number of firearms in civilian hands, and the cultural significance of guns in American history. Countries like Brazil and Mexico, for example, also face gun violence due to factors like organized crime, but they do not have the same gun culture as the US. 5. America has the best healthcare system. While the US is home to some of the most advanced medical technologies and world-renowned hospitals, it does not have the best healthcare system when compared to other developed nations. The US spends more on healthcare per capita than any other country, but the system is criticized for being fragmented, expensive, and inefficient. Many Americans face high insurance premiums, co-pays, and medical bills, and millions do not have access to affordable healthcare. Other countries with universal healthcare like Canada, the UK, and Germany have better health outcomes and more equitable access to care. 6. All Americans are patriotic and support the government. Cheating Tayi. While many Americans are indeed proud of their country, it's a misconception that all Americans are strongly patriotic or always support their government. The US is a country with diverse political views and ideologies, and there are many who critique or protest government actions, policies, or decisions. Patriotism varies across regions, and there's a long history of dissent and activism in the US, from the civil rights movement to modern-day political protests. 7. America is a classless society. The idea that America is a classless society is false. While the US is often seen as a land of opportunity, social mobility is not as easy as some may believe. The gap between the rich and poor has been widening for decades, and many people find it difficult to escape poverty due to systemic issues like unequal access to education, healthcare, and employment opportunities, class and race often intersect, and people from marginalized communities face additional barriers to upward mobility. Americans are all individualistic and do not care about community. While American culture emphasizes individualism and self reliance, it is incorrect to say that all Americans do not value community. Many Americans place a strong emphasis on family, religious, and local communities. Volunteerism is also a significant part of American life, with millions of people donating their time and resources to charitable causes. There are also strong networks of support for many people, especially in rural or tight-knit urban communities. Touch at 9. The US is completely racially tolerant. The US is often portrayed as a racially tolerant and integrated society, but in reality, racial discrimination remains a significant issue. Despite progress made through the civil rights movement and subsequent laws, systemic racism persists in many areas of life, including policing, housing, education, and employment. Many people of color face inequities and discrimination in daily life. The Black Lives Matter movement, as well as other activism groups, continue to highlight racial injustice and inequality. 10. Americans are all religious. While religion plays a significant role in American culture, it is a misconception that all Americans are religious or that the US is a deeply religious country. The US has a large secular population, and religious affiliation has been steadily declining, especially among younger generations. The US Constitution guarantees religious freedom, and the country is home to a wide variety of beliefs, including Christianity, Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, Hinduism, and non-religious individuals. The growing trend of secularism and religious diversity reflects the pluralistic nature of American society.